Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to make a little candle holder out of this tin plated cookie sheet that I picked up at the dollar store. And it's going to be reminiscent of, if you ever watched A Christmas Carol, the one Scrooge was holding. So I never made one before, so you're going to come along with this little project that I got going on here. Alright, so the first thing I have is two discs that I cut out of regular poster board. One's 3" and one's 4". So we are going to use the 4" one, and we're going to draw a circle. I know the light's shining off of this, but it is what it is. Alright, and before I take this off, I want to make a little mark where the center is. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to get a pair of cutters. Regular tin snips, and I'm going to cut this out. Now the tricky part is these edges here. Okay, so I got two different cutters here, and I'm going to try to snap this. Whoa. There you go. Little PSA, you probably should be wearing gloves. Man, that light's wreaking havoc on me. Alright, so you see how I kind of get this going here? And then I'll come in. And I'll get the main part of this cut out. Totally off camera, and the light is wreaking havoc. Alright, let me cut this out and I'll be back. Alright, so I have the disc cut out, and what I'm going to do is just get a little piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to soften these edges. So we don't want them to be sharp. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we are going to put on the 3" circle onto this. This is why I have the little spot there. And we're going to get our marker again, and we're going to draw around that. Okay. Now the next step is a little tricky, but I'll show you how I do it. So I get a needle nose pliers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right to that edge of that line, and I'm going to crimp it. A little twist. See that? Then I'll come over, if you can see where that crimp is, and I'll come over to that next spot, and I'll crimp it again. And I'm going to go all the way around this and keep crimping it. And that's going to add significant strength to this very thin metal. All right, you get the idea. I'll finish that and I'll bring you back. So I got the initial crimp in, and it sure makes it much stiffer. Then I just took it over and just tap right around. You're going to want this to sit flat. I also left one little flat spot there. Man, this light is just glaring off of that. Hopefully you can see that. So now what I'll do is, I'll just go around, and any little spots that I don't like, I'll just tweak them so it looks kind of nice and round, okay? And I'll be right back. So that was about 10 minutes of just tweaking it, and I'm very pleased with that. And again, if you're making one of these, don't go crazy trying to make every one of these crimps look exactly the same, because it's, you know, handmade, one-off item, right? Basically, you just want those crimps to stiffen this up. All right, so the next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to make the part that actually holds the candle. So let me rearrange this camera and I'll show you what I'm going to, well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sheet of this, a piece of this. Let me cut it out. I'm just approximating because I'm going to want it to be, I'm going to trim it at the end. All right, so we got that. And it's going to be for my homemade beeswax candle, so this is plenty. So what I want to do now is I want to roll over the edge, okay, and I'm going to do that on my vise. So let me show you that. So I have a steel ruler here. Man, the glare is killing me, but nothing I could do about that. All right, and I'm just going to put this, I'm going to give myself, I guess that's about 1/4 of an inch, okay, and I'm going to put this in my vise. Make sure it's level where I want it. That's too much. Tighten that up. I'm going to I have a little file here. I'm just gonna straighten this up a little bit. If I would have cut it straight, I wouldn't have had this to do this. All right, now we just take a little hammer. All right, come back over here. Now you have that 90 degree. And now let me get a softer hammer. And we're going to start to bring that all the way over. Now we have a nice rolled edge on that, okay? I'm actually going to get my little Harbor Freight vise. All right, now we have to turn this into a holder. So basically we're going to start to roll this and make a circle. And again, I'm going to clean up this edge here from where I cut it. I'm actually going to run that on my sander. All right. Give me a second. Get a little the burrs off. Don't want anything sharp. And we're going to start to roll this. And I'm just going to use this little, it's a half-inch piece of rod, steel rod, that I put into the end to act as a horn. Use the plastic hammer. All right, so now we kind of want to figure how much of this we're going to need. Hopefully you can see that. All right. And we want to leave a little space here. This is not going to be totally attached. This way, if you have a nub in there, you'll be able to pull it out. So I'm just going to make a quick mark. Where's my marker? And then we'll finish rounding it up. All right, so I'll estimate right about there. So now I'm going to cut that. All right, so we got that cut. Now we're going to do the rest of this round. Actually, I'm going to clean that first. Now we have to make that perfectly round. So it's going to be a bunch of fiddling around with this. All right, so I'll fiddle around with this, and I also want you to notice I got it tighter down here because what I want is I want it to kind of wedge in there, but I can see right now this is way too big. The candle falls right through. So I'm going to have to definitely trim more of this off right here. But I'll bring you back when this part's done. All right. So I shortened it by about 3/8 of an inch. And all I did was use a cutoff wheel. It was pretty anticlimactic. Just be careful, again, wear safety goggles. Because I want to show you, see these little pieces here? This is the first disc that's shattered. So basically you just go around it and cut it. So I got it in pretty good shape. I mean, is it perfectly concentric? No. But is it good enough? Yeah. So again, this is a homemade candle holder, right? Again, here's a snub of one of my candles, and it fits perfectly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little soldering. So I have this stone here, and we're going to center this right where that little dot was. That's where it's going to end up getting soldered. So what I use is I have some rosin core solder. Let me move this stuff out of the way. And I have some of this Oatly water-soluble tinning flux, okay? I actually want to go get a little cup of water, so I'll be right back. So I have a couple little brushes here. I have some water, and I have one of my Beeswax candles. I'm going to make sure it fits, and it does. So we're good with that. Now, what I prefer to do, because the way I saw the old antique type ones, was this little slot to be facing back by the handle. So remember I left a little flat spot right there. So we're going to put that there, okay? First we're going to get a little flux. Put that on there. And I want to make sure I see the circle, the mid spot. And we'll take a little, put it on the inside of here, and a little bit on the outside. Okay. Now before I place that in there, I'm going to want to get a little piece of this solder, and I'm going to just form a circle that's going to be approximately the size of that. Let me just grab the actual candle, put the solder around that. And I'm going to fit that in here. Alright, I will place this down. Make sure the solder is flat. Just lining it up, centering it. Okay. Now I have here some 1 pound lead weights. I'm going to carefully put that on there. And that should hold it nice and firm. Now I'm going to slide this a little bit this way. And I have here just a little pencil torch. I'm going to light this up. Again, make sure you do this well ventilated. I'm in my garage with the door open. Okay. And I'm going to I know you're not going to be able to see it, but I'm going to slowly heat this up. Went out. What's happening is this doesn't like to be pointed down. I may have to use something else. We'll try it again. And it keeps going out. Nope. Alright. Off to plan 2. Give me this torch. Hopefully it's not too much. Get a little bit more flux. A little bit of water. All right, let's see how that looks. Nice. Looks like we got a definite solid bond. All right, cool that off. And we'll clean that off shortly. But there you have it. You make sure it's cool. I'll do it with this piece. I'll just test it. Perfect. All right. Now to clean this off, I'll just get a small wire brush. Let me go grab one. Just a small little wire brush like this. Good enough for government work. Got a little piece of solder there. We'll take care of that later. All right, so the next thing we got to do is make a handle. So let me straighten this out a little bit. We'll make so I have a strip here, and I'm going to do the same exact thing I did to put the edge. I'm going to fold it over. I won't make you watch that again, but I'll bring you back when that's done. All right, so we have it. I did it on both sides. That makes it very stiff. Now we got to figure out how we want our handle to look. And I'm going to make a loop. But what I want to do is, I want it to go on the outside of this, which is going to be soldered on, and then come around and loop that way. So we're going to start to do that process around this mandrel, but leave a flat spot. Whoops. I want this part to be on the bottom. Let me straighten that back out. So let's see. I want that to be on the bottom. So it's going to be like that. So the loop's got to come this way. trying to figure out how big I want that. We're going to have to do a little trimming. Alright, let's see. Kind of. Alright, I'm going to cut that right there. And I want to fold this around. Alright, let me grab my pliers and see what I could do. There's a lot of fiddling with this stuff. I definitely want this to be more on the, there you go. Look at that. Alright, so let me trim this off. Cut the edges. Alright, let me round this up. And much easier to do without the camera in my face. Alright, I'll be right. That took some fiddling, and I'm not even done with it. I'm going to solder it on, and then I'm going to shape the final shape. So what I'm going to do is get a little flux. I'm going to put a little flux in there, here, on here. Get this lined up the best I can where I want it. And make sure it's as straight as I can get it. I think that's a little twisted this way. Very fiddly. Alright, how am I going to want to do this? Probably this way would be better, but how the heck am I going to hold that? Alright, here we go. Where is my solder? Here it is. Let's get this thing going. Oh, epic failure. No, I forgot I was gonna put a wet rag on that. Dang. Wow, too much heat. That pencil torch, this pencil torch would have been better. It's more isolated. All right, well, that wasn't fun. I guess I'll finish the handle and then I'll put something on that to cool that down. That was an epic fail there, folks. I think some of it dripped down to the bottom. Hopefully it did. It did not. Let's get a little solder in there. Hopefully, well, I don't think it's going to fall off because I have it crimped on there. All right. I'm going to let that cool, and I'll bring you back, and we'll try to put the candle holder part back on. All right. Dang it. So I have a wet paper towel on that. We're going to try to do this with this pencil torch. Oh, I see the solder flowing. Oh, think we got it. Yeah, this is much better. All right, let me let that cool off, and we're going to see what it looks like. All right, it's soldered, and it's soldered really well. So now I'm just going to do some cleanup. Maybe try to just straighten that a little bit. It's sort of like a D shape, which I like, but just I have a little crimp there. I'm going to just do it on here again. But I'm just going to go at this with the wire brush. And I like the ruggedness, or how can I put it? The ruggedness that those flames made on here. It looks like it was burnt, which is pretty cool. I would attempt to do the whole thing like that, but you know what will happen. All the soldering joints will come apart. So let me clean that up best I can. We'll put a candle in it and we'll try it out. All right, I'll tell you what. For my first one, I am extremely pleased with this. I learned a few things. Do this last. Yeah, I mean, let's try it with the candle. Look at that. Fits beautifully. Now I can walk around like Scrooge. Well, you know we have to light it, right? All right, let's light her up. Shuts the lights off. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference, but let me close the garage. Coolio. That made it better. Wow, I'm extremely happy with that. It really wasn't very difficult. I mean, that the tray cost, a buck and a quarter, and the candles I made, and just a little bit of work, a little bit of solder, and I'll be honest with you, it came out exactly like I was hoping for. I couldn't have been more pleased. So, yeah, you should definitely try this if you have the means and got some soldering equipment. I bet you a soldering iron, but a big soldering iron, would probably work better than the little torch. But I don't have a big giant soldering iron, so I couldn't try it. But this worked out okay. Lesson learned, put on the handle first and then do the candle holder part. So I hope you enjoyed it, folks. You know I'm going to say it. I'm sending you all much, much love and appreciation, my brothers and sisters. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see you on the next one.